How I picked up game development and finished my first game. Short version. I completed the first version of a game about vegetables. I used the Godot engine. I love it. And I learned lots of stuff. Note, this video is more of a blog type thing. Don't expect crazy life hacks or anything useful. It's just me telling the story of creating my first game. Longer version. The year is 2020. The world is in quarantine. People lose jobs. Families fall apart. There's hunger, fear, chaos, and misery. But one little child is having the time of his life. The child inside me. Note, I'm not saying I'm pregnant, it's just a figure of speech. What I'm trying to say is that I fulfilled my childhood dream. Ever since I played this, and later a huge amount of this, being a game developer has been my dream job. I studied math and programming and almost went to university in Edinburgh to study computer science or something. I wasn't really sure I wanted that, so I randomly picked up puppet theater instead, in my hometown too. And I'm happy I didn't waste all that time learning computer stuff, because now the only thing you need in order to make a game is a game engine, where all the hard work beyond comprehension is already done by other smart people. Let's jump to 2020 again. As I was browsing for new interesting stuff on 4chan, I stumbled upon a pixel art looping picture. Enchanted by the beauty and nostalgia of it, I did some research and found out that pixel art and indie game development are the hobbies of many people. So I decided to freeze all my other pending projects in different areas and download Unity. Unimpressed by the download size and the low quality of the tutorial I launched, I uninstalled it the next day. Enter Godot. Get it? It's a theatrical reference because Godot is from a play actually, and although Godot never shows up in that play, but so there's no Enter Godot in the play, but anyway. The Godot game engine is small, quick, and intuitive. Its node system makes things organized and comprehensive, and GDScript, the coding language it uses, is simple and well documented. For someone with some programming experience like me, it's the perfect tool to unleash your wildest fantasies. So imagine this. It's quarantine, I'm looking after my 2 kids during the day, sleeping in the afternoon, and at night I am devoting 5 or 6 hours to making pixel art, doing stretching exercises while listening to Pixel Beats music, link in the description, and following GDQuest's platformer tutorial. It was the time of my life. It was awesome. So I finished the platformer, then tweaked it with my own graphics, then I worked on a couple of small games I made up, slowly growing my skills and confidence. Around that time, my puppet theater decided to work on a Bulgarian traditional children's tale called Grandpa Pulls a Turnip, which I had extended and rewritten as a musical. It was a very ambitious project and we were applying for ministry funding, so I said, let's include a mobile game in the project. I'll make it, it'll be simple and educational. How hard can it be? Everyone said, cool, we'll be the first puppet theater with a game. Development began. I decided to complete the backend and technical stuff first, and add the graphics later, when we have all the puppets ready. I wanted the characters in the game to look exactly like the ones we had in the puppet performance. I added one mechanic after another, following the simple plan in my head. And it turned out it wasn't that simple. Let's take a look at the game. You're in control of the grandpa. You can move him around. There's a bunch of vegetables, and when you tap one, Grandpa says its name.
Patlıcan. Broccoli.
Then there's Grandma, who is cooking soup and requires your help.
Благодаря, дядо. Баба е доволна. Но ми трябва още помощ. Моля те, донеси ми домат. Веднага, бабо.
You have to go to the garden and pick the correct vegetable and bring it back to Grandma. As you see, lots of dialogues, 4 or 5 or 6 different situations, lots of graphics, and even now the animations remain stiff. And several technical aspects. I noticed things were on the verge of going completely wrong when I saw this. What you see is a list of variables I used to store information about what vegetable Grandpa is currently carrying. I had added these consecutively during the implementation of different small features. And instead of all these, I could have used only 2 or 3, as they overlap in use. So, even for a project this small, one should probably first write it all down and have a very clear structure what it's going to be and how it's going to work. But then again, this is my first finished game. Actually, kind of finished. I'm going to work on it more. I need it to be more attractive and cool in order to use it as marketing for my puppet performance. Anyway, this is one of my first games ever, and I see it not only as a professional project, but also as a learning experience. Some of the things I achieved. Draggable things using input events. Dialogue system. Functions for saying lines, dialogue trees, all written in the script. My first non-pixel art animated characters, even if they are kinda stiff. More characters to come. There's also a dog, a cat, a mouse, a girl, and a dinosaur in the performance. Getting the game to work on my phone, thanks to Kids Can Code for the tutorial how to debug on your phone. Actually uploading something to Google Play. Although it doesn't come in the Google Play search, it is there. And actually finishing something, even if it's just a playable alpha of what I want it to be. As I've heard, the skill to persist and finish things is one of the hardest to obtain and one of the most valuable to an indie game dev wannabe. My favorite Godot YouTuber, Mrs. keeps saying that. I doubt this will become my profession at any point, but all I ever do is follow my hobbies and occasionally get paid to do it. I mean, puppet theater, people. As for the game, there's a link to download it in the description of this video. I'm beginning to work on an expanded version. Deadline is this autumn, so maybe you'll hear from me again then. A huge thanks to everyone involved in making Godot so lovely. And to everyone making tutorials. GDQuest, you're the best. Kids Can Code gives you God mode. Alright, I'm not that much of a rapper. I guess that's all I wanted to say. Follow your dreams, guys. See ya.